It is just me right now, I believe. Oh, nope, I take that back. Is somebody else here? If you're here, say hi, because I don't necessarily know who everybody is. Nope, maybe just me. Not sure. I think it's just me. So I am going to hang for a couple minutes. I'm actually a minute early because I'm still testing the microphone. And hopefully you guys can hear the microphone. Looks like I might be a little quiet. So pardon the mic being in screen, but I'm going to slide it up a little bit, see if that's any better to pick me up. And just going to hang for a sec. I'm gonna look at YouTube while I'm at it because I wonder if I can actually see the chat on here. I would like to see the chat on here. I am muted. I'm already, now see, I can't really go live again because I've already been live. So I'm not sure. You're not seeing chat. You're watching, listening. I see that you're on. Okay, so let me see what's going on with my camera then. Give me a second there, Mr. Drew. Thank you for letting me know because I can see me and it says I'm live. Settings. Microphone. No, that's the good part. Camera. FaceTime HD camera. It should be in there. As before recommending. Nope, let's see. I see you. There you go. There should be a live chat option. Let me go back in my settings. On the side, there should be an option to chat, sir. Let me see. Live chat. There we go. I'm going to type something in the live chat so you can see it. Can you see where that popped up, Drew? There should be a place for you to chat, type in on the side over there. There we go. Very good. Okay, so it's you and me right now. So we're going to chill for a little bit. We've got a Sammy and Mouse getting ready to start their drama. So this is officially my first live chat. It is appropriate. Drew is the first person here. Hi, guys. Thank you. Thank you very much. I am trying now for the last part of this to figure out how I can follow the chat on my phone to see it, to see what's going on. So if I go to my, hold on. Maybe I don't do it as my channel. I need to do it as something a little different. Live. There we go. So I've turned my sound off too. Oops, someone else is with us. Who's here? Hi, Diane. How are you? All right, so this. Hi, Diane. Whoops, how are you? I turned my sound off. So this, hi, Diane. How are you? Wow, that's just going to be like, okay. There we go. All right, so that's going to allow me to see the chat from people without staring up at the screen. So microphone's good. You guys can see me. Welcome to my first live chat, all two of you for the moment. So if you've got questions or you want feedback from me, but what I figured I'd do is, just because it was what people talked about, was discuss what my favorite rides are at the different parks. I, of course, have to caveat this, that I am severely motion sick and severely afraid of heights. So what I can and can't do is going to change. It's going to be very limited. So which park would you guys like me to start with? Because it's live chat, so I might as well ask you. Any of the U.S. parks for Disney and the 2 Universal parks. What do you want to talk about? Or not? Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom. I see nothing. Still waiting. There we go. California Adventure. Okay. So I have only been to California Adventure once. Again, I'm going to include attractions on this simply because there are a lot of rides I can't do there. So in California Adventure, I like water rides. I can do water rides. They're fun. I like the water rides. We'll go to Universal in a moment, Mr. Drew, since Diane got in there first. So Grizzly River Run is probably my favorite thing there. I didn't get very wet on it. It was relaxing. It was enjoyable. I had a lot of fun there. I also really liked Animation Academy. Going in and learning how to do the drawing. We're going to have a cat who wants to be part of the show. This is Sammy. No, you cannot be that high up, sweetheart. Whoops. Whoops. But the Animation Academy and that whole building over there where They had the Frozen meet and greet, which was the first time I ever saw an Anna and Elsa meet and greet with literally like 2 people in front of us. Insanely easy, insanely crazy. I loved the way they were doing the music, and I had all the screens up in that main area, and I really loved learning how to draw. We learned how to draw Donald Duck with the curves, and it just put a new perspective on how to do circles to make the whole fun happen. Mike and Sully to the rescue, because I like Monsters Inc. Oh, boo. It's a classic dark ride. It's not wildly, exciting, but it was enjoyable. I had fun on it. I liked Luigi's, and I liked Luigi's more than Mater's, because of the Italian theme. Wonder why. Enjoyed the cars and the movement, and it wasn't as rough as Mater's, though Mater's is probably my second choice for that one. I went there with Sunny, and we had tons of laughs as it's spinning around and being silly, but it is definitely rough. Drew, for you, this is like Alien Swirling Saucers, but it was designed with Cars Land Mater as the main character for it. I give a special shout out to Radiator Springs. I realize, and correct me if I'm wrong, Diane, but I believe it is a lot like Test Track, with a few specific differences. Mike and Sully to the Rescue is so much better than the original ride, which is Hollywood Limo. I heard about Hollywood Limo. Oh my goodness, that was bizarre. There's a show, another channel I follow called Defunctland. Weird. It was like you drove through Hollywood with like celebrities, like mock-up celebrities, like Madame Tussauds meets a dark ride. It was really strange. But Mike and Sully, I love the Doors. I loved seeing Randall and all the characters, so that made me happy. But with Radiator Springs, I got a little nauseated on it, which I don't do on Test Track. So there's got to be some variance on there. Yeah, it's slower, really? God, it felt faster to me. Oh, I guess the 65, right. Now, here's something I learned when I went on Radiator Springs. Someone who was a regular there said, when you're going through the ride and you start going through the speed section, supposedly there are cameras following you, because Disney's going to watch and make sure you're not doing anything stupid. But if they see you're cheering more than the other car, they let your car win. So my friend and I, we said, let's give it a try. What the heck? Let's, we really cheered, and our car won by, enough of it that we could say our car was the winner. I don't know if it's true. It'd be kind of cool if it was, because from everybody, what they were saying when they cheered, they won. So I thought that was cool. Now, I'm going to add to the ones I really like, no, I will never get on that. No. The moving cars on Mickey's Fun Wheel, which I believe is now called Mickey and Friends. It's the Pixar, it's the Ferris wheel, and they have a couple cars that don't move, and I did those, and those were scary enough for me. But then they have these ones on tracks. And as the wheel goes around, it moves to the center. And as the wheel comes out, it moves out. And then it moves down. So it's like you're going back and forth or up and down, depending on how the wheel is focused. No. And then it does this because it's done. Not doing that. Scary. No. Did I mention? No. What do we got here? The slower the bank truck. Okay. Yeah, it definitely did appear faster to me. Or it wasn't even that it was faster, but it had a couple more of those, which got my stomach a little more. So that was a hoot. Who has joined us? I see Diane and Drew. Whoever is the other person, please jump in and say hi so I know who you are and you're here. The other one that I won't go on, although I know lots of people love it, is the Incredicoaster. It goes upside down. That's my line. I have gone upside down. I can tell you that in Walt Disney World, I have gone on just about every ride once, with the exception of Mission Space Orange. I have done Mission Space Green multiple times, but no, can't do it. So, all right. So where did you want to start there again, Drew? You said Universal. Okay, well, we can jump to Universal. We can do Islands of Adventure, or we can do Universal Studios. And since you were not specific, I need you to be more specific. Which would you guys like to see more of or talk to next? And again, if you have other questions about stuff while I'm chatting, jump on in, let me know. This is probably easier for me to read. Yeah, I've never seen that about the bank track, so that's really neat. There we go. That's easier. Well, since I have not gotten a response, why don't we start with the Universal Park that I like a little bit less, which is Universal Studios. Now, I love it because I have a friend who works there, and that always makes me happy. Islands of Adventure. Okay, Islands of Adventure will go first then because I didn't start. So, Islands of Adventure, my absolute favorite experience in the entire park. No, it's not a ride. It's the Raptor encounter. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. You get to meet Blue. And as you all know, Drew and I had a lovely experience with that a couple years ago. Yeah, and yeah, we were bad. We were very bad. Well, the cast member could have stopped me because I gave him the out, but we basically made a person, a woman and her child, absolutely believe that it was a real dinosaur that they had genetically grown. Really, truly. Child was screaming bloody murder. Mom didn't want to go near the dinosaur. We were bad. I loved it. And the kid will believe for years and years and years that it was a real dinosaur and will probably kick himself once he finds out that it wasn't. Feeding time, yes, because it was cow time. Goats, cows, they had to be live, so that they can snap its neck, like a snake or a cat or something snaps the neck. And we were bad. We were so bad. Okay, so my next one on the list would be Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man Adventure. I enjoy it because, yes, we were very epic, true. Spider-Man I like because it is a ride that makes you fall off buildings, makes you think you're doing all of these things. But the actual ride just kind of does that. And that's about it. So if it's, oh no, we're going to get thrown off the building. So I'm not getting dizzy. All I feel is the slight jostling. And then I can keep trying to open my eyes and see what I can see. And I can tolerate that if if you're willing to do that, that works great for me. I think it's a fun concept, and I do like it more than the similar one on the other side, which would be Transformers, although I still have that somewhat on my list for that side. My next favorite, and we did not get to do this year because it was a little cold, is Popeye and Bluto's Bilgewater Rats. You get soaked. You don't get slightly soaked. You get soaked. On the description as you're walking up to the ride, it said, how the rides might say you might get wet, like Holly will say you may get wet, you could get soaked. Yeah, it says you will get soaked. No question, no maybe, you will get soaked. So, yeah. There's a section in the ride where you go up a second conveyor belt very slowly, as it's moving you up to the next set of drops. And as you're going up, there are water cannons posed at every seat. So no matter where you're sitting, you will get soaked. The last time I was on it, we were moving up the ramp. We got just past those cannons and the car stopped for a minute because they had to, like someone else had to get on that had an issue or they had to stop it for a minute. But the ramp's not moving. There's a car behind us at the cannons. Shh. For about a minute. They were beyond soaked. They were, oh dear God, soaked. It was pretty funny. Thank you for subscribing, Diane. I appreciate it. So yeah, that was just soaking. Oh dear God. Yeah. And I didn't, and then I had to go buy clothes because we were supposed to meet my friend after that. And it was, I was going in a restaurant that wet. I will say, like Mythos, which I do enjoy. It's good basic food restaurant. I cannot go in there unless I have multiple layers to add on because they make that place so, oh my God, cold. Freezing. Oh my God, cold. Okay. Well, thank you, my dear. It was a pleasure. And I'm going to try to keep doing these. Well, if we'll talk on Facebook about topics, or if there's one you guys want to post onto here for topic for next time, let us know. We would Yeah. Well, I'd be very happy to get your thoughts, your feedback, and come up with topics you guys want me to ramble about. Okay, so the next one after Popeye and Bluto would be the High in the Sky trolley ride. It is in Seussland, and it's cute and it's fun, and it's like what I would consider a kid's ride of a coaster, because you do go a little up and you move around and you're up in the air, but it is like a 3-year-old roller coaster versus a 10-year-old roller coaster. It's so much fun. It's comfortable. It's flowy. It makes me happy. And then the last one on that one would be Skull Island, which is the Kong ride. Now, it's not necessarily my favorite. I think the Kong ride is really on there because of the line, because the line is hysterical. You know, I mean, I suppose if you're going first thing in the morning and you rush right through, you won't get the fun stuff. But if you go there when the park has been open for at least half an hour, oh my God, it's funny. There are natives, bones through the teeth, you know, all the people that would have lived on the island, hiding in the rocks, and they will jump out at people when they do not expect it. And some people have complained about, oh, they kept bothering this one person. She kept screaming. It was so loud. Well, yeah, that's kind of the point. It's sort of like what I think they've learned on Hollywood Horror Nights, where if you jump at someone and they scream, you will continue to jump at them. You heard the scream, and then the actors hone in. I mean, working with Renfest as I do, it's that same thing. If you know this person is going to laugh, you focus to them, because their response becomes contagious, which travels it through and to everybody else. So now on the you love the scream. Yeah, they do. They love screamers. They want the it's pretty funny. So the I don't know if that's me. Maybe that is me. Maybe it's just you and me, Drew, chatting. Someone else may join us. My what did I call it? Honorable mention for Universal on that side is going to be the Castle ride. It's good. I do get a little queasy on it, but it is a beautiful ride. I just have to keep my eyes closed for a good chunk of it. On that one is the no way in hell, I'm not getting on them, no, is going to be Doctor Doom and Storm Force Exceltron. In fact, you will see me when I'm walking in the parks, walk by where the tenting is up and over the Hulk. And you see like the glasses and the change and the wallets and all the things that have fallen out of people's stuff while they've been going over. And yeah, no. And I'll look up and go, nope, don't get it. Don't get it. Nope, not happening. And just keep walking. So that, yeah, those are my notes. And I can't do the spinning rides like Storm Force. I would get so sick. That is true. It is going to be able to review. So other people will be able to make your comments, and I'll be able to see those and follow up and respond to people. So if you are watching this after the fact, please go ahead, still make your comments or your questions. I can always follow up in something else. The Jurassic Park ride, again, I was just trying to do top fives. It's okay. That big drop at the end, the 5-story drop. Again, I'm not a roller coaster. I'm not a big drop like Dudley Do Right. I should have up there because I used to adore flume rides, but the drops in the Dudley Do Right, besides the fact that you do truly get soaked like on Popeye, they're more intense. And if I'm not going to do Splash Mountain anymore, there's no way I'm doing Dudley Do Right. I have done Jurassic Park. I can do Jurassic Park. I have found, I believe if you sit in the middle seats in the back row, you don't get wet. I think that's what someone said. So, or less wet. The Dr. Seuss ride, the Cat in the Hat, is okay. My only problem with that one is the spinning in the middle. I do fine on the ride. It's a dark ride. It's great. And then suddenly it goes, whoa. And so I would not put it up on my top, but I do like it. I do like it. Pardon me as I close this because it keeps confusing me. So that's gone. Yay. All right. So next park, Drew, or if there's anybody else here, there's somebody else. I think there's somebody else here. Let me see if that's supposed to be me and you. I don't know how to tell. Some messages all my, yeah, I don't know. Well, okay. What I can do you want me to do the other Universal Park? I assume that's where we're supposed to head next. So going with that theme, I will say the next Universal Park would be Universal Studios, and there probably my favorite ride is now Men in Black. simply because, it's a shoot 'em up, so I can be actively engaged. It does spin. I do still get dizzy, but if I'm really trying to focus on stuff, I can do pretty well. It's also better if I can shoot the little red hooky light at the top of the other person's car before I get mine shot, because then I don't spin. So much better. Next for that would be, I'm trying not to repeat rides. So the next one, Poseidon's Fury, I like. It's a lot of standing, especially if your feet are tired. It's not a sit and experience a room, but well, I might as well, So it's not. It's fun. It's got some comedy in it, which I appreciate. But if I was going to pick one, I would want to go back to Disaster, where you at least kind of sit and experience and play along, which I'm sad about. All right, so back over to Universal Studios. So Men in Black, and then the Hogwarts Express, and I'm putting it on this side because there were enough things on the other park that I had a 5. But the Hogwarts Express in either direction, I love the line. I love, the being able to sit and enjoy. It was interesting. One of the other vlogs I follow said that they thought you would get sick on this ride. And as someone who really does experience motion sickness, you feel movement, you see movement, and it's about the same. And truthfully, if you're watching this, he was saying if you sit close to the film side of it and you watch what's going on the film side of it, you'll get dizzy. Reality, no. I mean, and if you did start to, you can turn and look at the other stuff, and it's not I've got to close my eyes because I'm totally immersed. That's part of the experience, and they do direct you back and forth. So I don't get dizzy from that. I enjoy that one quite a bit. Next, over at Universal Studios, as much as it is a challenge and as much as I will pick on my friends who took me on it the first time, Gringotts, the Gringotts Bank. There is a short roller coaster-ish section of it. And then there are parts of it where you do spin a little bit, and you move quickly. They don't last super long. If you're more severely motion sick than I am, yes, it's still going to be a challenge, but it's really interesting. And I like the scenes, but that first moment when you're staring into the black abyss and you know that you're about to drop, that part I don't like. But it's one hill, I believe, and it's not so much coastery after the fact. I have learned, I will say this, because my friends were like, oh no, it's not a coaster, no, it's fine, no. Is that I am better physically, my brain patterns work better if I know in advance what's supposed to happen. Hi, hello, hi, Miss Sunny. So welcome. We're actually doing the Universal Studios stuff right now, and of course you can always go back and watch older parts of this. But okay, so that is you, me, and Sunny. Okay, so the thing with me is if I know what's going to happen next in the ride, I don't get as sick because my brain says, all right, I know I'm only going here for about 15 seconds, which means like my brain can prep for the next step. And if I can watch the videos, like people do POVs of the video of the rides beforehand, and I can see what's expected, I actually handle it a lot better and I get less sick. One of the tricks I've learned with roller coasters, which will help, it's not perfect, but it does help, is if you're following right in front of the car, you get sick. But if you go, all right, we're veering over here, let's keep my over till I get there. Oh, we're going to go over there. Oops, sorry. That was probably really crappy on the mic. I'm sorry. If your brain, you start to prep in advance where you're headed, then you get less nauseated. It becomes more enjoyable experience. So, all right. So after Gringotts, I would say it's the Shrek 4D. I know a lot of people don't like this because you're sitting in a movie theater and it's loud, bumpy seats. I think it's cute. Again, I can experience motion and, like when it spits at you and you get all the random stuff. It's fun. It's lightweight. I like the pre-show, bad puns and jokey silliness all. I love the actors who do the voices in it. So it's an enjoyable experience for me. And next time, and the last one I would put is Transformers. And Transformers is very much like the Spider-Man ride over in the other park. But Transformers. So again, I can close my eyes so I don't get too dizzy. I can mitigate, how my body responds, and it's very tolerable. in my special mentions would be the horror makeup show. It is very cheesy. They have not changed it in years, but I had a friend who was, well, yeah, well, it's a stage show more than a street show. They do a Marilyn Monroe thing now. They do Blues Brothers, and then they have parades. And I will admit it, I'm sorry, I am not a parade girl. Oh, look, people moving on a float. Oh, there's music. Okay. Yeah. Oh, look, more of the same music and people on another float. That's me at a parade. There are parts of it I might enjoy if they do something like from what I've seen video of the Halloween Horror Nights, they do some interesting stuff, like they're dragging shovels on the ground for the Haunted Mansion segment, so they spark, so they're doing something more dynamic with the piece, and that's more fun. Get to the street shows after you review the horror effects. Oh, what, like the Harry Potter street shows? I'm assuming that's the ones you're talking about, Drew, because I'm going to start moving on to the other Disney parks shortly. I have, so I haven't done the other Disneyland one. The horror makeup show is fun. I enjoy the goofiness, the silliness of it. Seeing, as a person who does pull people out of the audience, seeing who's the poor woman they're going to pull out of the audience, because yes, it is always a woman, and she always has to be someone somewhat squeamish, because the jokes aren't as funny without her being a little bit squeamish. So I always enjoy that. My absolute nose, or my really, really hate, my absolute nose are Rip, Roar, and Rocket and the Mummy. Because Rip, Roar, and Rocket starts going up like this. And then it goes over. And I'm really, literally, you lay on your back and you go up. And then I think the ankle is kind of about that. It's still pretty darn straight down. Like my hand can't bend farther down, flatter. And it goes sideways, and I believe it goes upside down, and it's not for me. I remember seeing, Kevin Hart was on Jimmy Fallon when they were down at Universal, and they made poor Kevin Hart ride this thing, and he screamed. And I will not laugh at him, because I would be the same. Yes, I know it. I understand Egyptian. I mean, it's street fear for Mummy. Like, I won't ride Mummy, but I will go outside and at least talk to one of the mummies. I can't be more specific than that, but I do enjoy where they take character actors. Like, you have Marilyn Monroe, you have Scooby-Doo, and actually you have the whole Mystery Gang. They come out at different times. You've got SpongeBob comes out. You've got the Simpsons coming out and doing meet and greet. So there's some fun character puppet stuff in there. Speaking of the Simpsons, that is a ride that I will avoid as much as I possibly can, because while it should be no more than the Transformers or Spider-Man's, this thing, it's a lot rougher. Your car actually goes up and then starts really moving with the 3D around you, so you kind of can't get out of it. It becomes a much more intense experience, and I don't enjoy it as much. I did enjoy the SpongeBob gang. Oddly, I don't care for the persona, but they did an amazing street performance. Ironically, today, as I was getting my stuff organized for today, I had my TV on in the other room, and I watched a SpongeBob episode for the first time, because I just never watched it before. It was never my genre of things. Is that a happy face? It's interesting. Over here, it looks like a surprised face, Sunny. And over there, it's like, I mean, literally, that's what the little face looks like. It looks like it's like a yellow ghost with half the mouth more open than the other. That's pretty darn funny. Yeah, I mean, it just happened to be on when I turned the channel on. So, I didn't know what to do it. Oh, at the Mummy ride, you were surprised? What was surprising about the Mummy ride? I'm curious. I have a soft spot for the Mummy people. It was surprised. Oh, it was surprised because of the mummies. Never mind. So yeah, well, they're Egyptian gods on stilts, basically. Yes, they do. It's based on the Brendan Fraser Mummy ride, and this is Universal. This is not Disney. Drew wanted me to go through the Universal park, so I'm doing this first, and it is fabulous. It really is. The Universal ride. So yeah, so that's it. That's for my Universal ones. But it's my favorite part. I did the Mummy ride once. My favorite part of the ride is as the ride ends, Brendan Fraser plays a snotty actor of him version of himself and demands a cup of coffee. And it is handed to him before he screams. It's very funny. And the Disney would be more popular, so I was hoping the views. I know. Well, see, the thing is, it's 2:00 on a Saturday. I don't know if we're even going to get in at all. I'll post this when it's done so people can come back and watch, and then, they'll come and see another one. Because I'm hoping to do more of these. And again, I would love to get concepts for topics and things that you guys want to hear about. All right, so back to Disney. So we've got Disneyland and we've got the 4 parks in Walt Disney World. So, Sunny, you get to pick which park I talk about next while I drink water. La, la, la. Waiting for the Sunny. La, 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 la. Animal Kingdom. Absolutely. Animal Kingdom and Epcot are my 2 favorite Disney World parks. I like all of them, but I said Disney World, but that is my favorite. So, top of my list, and I can tell you right now, Sunny, you will not like this ride. You might like the concept of it, but your neck and back will be hurt. Dinosaur. It is the same track system as Indiana Jones, which is why I said you won't like it, but it is my favorite ride there because we'll get to Disneyland in a minute and it'll make more sense. But you go back in time. Felicia Rashad and one of the kids in the hall, and I wish I could remember which one it is, are running a Dino Institute, and you get shot back in time to save an iguanodon, and you pass by other dinosaurs along the way. I remember riding this once. I think I'm not really single rider, but our group got split, and I was next to a mom and a father and daughter, and the daughter was afraid of it because it's much darker than Indiana Jones. Like you're speeding through time, so it's much dark, and you see very poorly lit dinosaurs right before an asteroid shower is going to hit. And there's this one point when the really scary monster comes out at you, which is usually when they take the photo op too, and it roars at you, and that's when the ride stopped. This poor little girl is sitting next to her dad, crying and screaming into Daddy because is coming at her. And I felt so bad. Now, I'd given her some tricks about this is what you do, and these are things you can do to make yourself it's not too bad. And then we got stopped at the scariest moment of the ride. And I felt horrible because I told her it wasn't going to be awful and these, all that kind of stuff. So, yes, it was really sad. I felt bad for her. But again, the ride picked up and Daddy was there holding her, so she wasn't alone. And in the back row was Mom and Son. So, they were all good. All right. So, but I do love that ride. It's fun. It makes me happy. My second favorite is the Safari, which is live animals on this monstrously huge plot of land. And as Drew and I learned from doing the Wild Africa Trek this year, they separate the animals on very subtle ways so you don't realize they're separated, except for the ostrich that seems to want to run free everywhere, like was running right by where the lions were. It was like, that seems kind of cruel to the lions, but go early in the morning or go when it rains. When it rains, the elephants go into the water because actually supposedly the rain is uncomfortable for them. And because it's usually so hot in the parks, when it rains, the animals all go out and play. It's like, woohoo, this is fun. And they're much more active. Now, granted, when we were there, it was a cool enough day that our baby giraffes were gambling, which is like when their legs kind of flail out, which I will be posting that video probably by tomorrow, maybe tonight if I feel crazy, because I'm excited to get them all out. No, tomorrow's Universal. So it'll be another week before that one comes out. They had a poachers. Yes, no, they do not do that anymore. So what they discovered is that the poacher storyline, which I've seen it multiple times with that, the people weren't paying attention. So they took out some of those things and they added more animals in. And they do it more as a safari experience to understand like what these peoples are like. And they do talk about poachers and they do talk about conservation, but they don't have that storyline because people just didn't believe it. Go when the sun sets, another vision. Yeah, I'm really looking to try to do the evening safari. We did a VIP tour and they had said it was going to be the night safari, but it was the first thing we did. And it was still daylight out. So I was a little disappointed in that. I really did want to see the night safari on that. But I love the safari. And like I said, going early And while they say it's like if you can walk on forest ground, walking around in like a little forest where it's kind of uneven and roots are around, and if you can walk, if you have like enough of a stretch that or no massive fear of heights, like I have a fear of heights, but I did fine with this, totally fine, because it is secure, but you have to know that you have to just have that little bit of trust. It's not cheap, but the Wild Africa truck is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Like I said, in a couple of weeks, I should be posting some video of that up here. And you walk over the hippos, you'll walk over the crocodiles. It is amazing. And then you get to sit on the savannah and have lunch, while over here are the elephants and the flamingos in front of them, which you usually don't see them in the same line of sight. And on this side is the springbok and the giraffes and everything that's out on that initial big savannah that you see, all the animals that kind of walk around each other. It is absolutely amazing. Pardon me, I'm sitting on a hard floor. I thought I had enough cushion here, but I did not, so I've adjusted. It was absolutely amazing. And you can put in that you're vegetarian or whatever. I put in gluten-free, so they had a slightly adjusted menu for me, and it was lovely. It was really lovely. But it's sort of a slow, more detailed version behind the scenes. They fed hippos. They were feeding hippos. They showed us how they feed the hippos, and we got to watch them feed them. We did not get to feed the hippos, but it was a hoot. Yeah. So after the safari, my next choice, which we did not get to do because it was cold, Kali River Rapids. Now this one, unlike where you will get soaked at Universal, at Popeye, this one you might get wet. You might get a little splatter. You might get soaked, and I have gotten soaked on it, and then other times I've had not a drop on me. Here is the trick to riding Kali River Rapids if you don't want to get wet. Do not sit next to the heaviest people on the boat. And what I mean is that the weight needs to be distributed evenly. Now, I went on there once with Lance, who some of you know. And Lance sat on one, as we were about to sit, he was about to sit next to me and went, "Oh, hell no. You sit on the opposite side of the boat. I don't want to get soaked." He said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Trust me on this." So we sat on opposite sides of the boat. And we went down, and it will spin and spin and spin until you never know who's going to go down the big drop. And as we got to the drop, it spun, and it centered because our weight was evenly distributed. The next time I went on the boat, I went on with, I think it was Matt. And I said, we might be the heaviest group in our group. We might be the ones getting soaked. And oh, no. Because there was a gentleman who I think he looked like a sumo wrestler. So he was that particularly round kind of large man. And he was sitting next to a poor little girl who was probably about 50, 60 pounds tops. And they were together. I think they were family or something. I assume so. But as we got on the ride, he went, "It's going to be us." And I looked around and went, no, it's going to be them. He went, "Really?" I went, "Yeah, it's going to be them." And yeah, Hawaiian guy. And you're talking Hawaii guy on Kali, or are you talking a different Hawaii guy? Just clarify that for me when you have a moment, Mr. Drew. Okay, so it was on Kali. So you were the one who was with me. It wasn't Matt. Okay. And as we go down, I'm like, "I'm so sorry to that poor little girl," because the wave crested over them. And I was right. If you just kind of space out where that heaviest person is and try to be as far away from them as possible, because the heaviest weight is going to rotate and it's going to hook. It's just every single time I've been on there, I started noticing that pattern. It will hook. You will get over. And sometimes, and there was one time it was Lance and I, because we were just the heaviest pairing. Where even if it's like you're really heavy, but the person next to you is super light, and there's two groups of heavy people over there, you're still going to be okay. That's just the experience I had. Okay, so next is I went to attractions, because while there are some other amazing rides in the park, motion sickness, gravity with spinning curves. Yeah, the heavy side is doomed. Thank you. It's science. So the Finding Nemo show. I love the Finding Nemo show. It makes me sob like a baby every time. It is live puppetry, musical. So think of what they did on Broadway with Animal Kingdom, where, like she had all of the animals, half puppet, half human, and they do a half an hour, or I think it might be 35-minute version of Finding Nemo. They have a lot of extra music. Some of it's kind of repetitive, and every single scene ends with a song, which is the only thing that I started getting annoyed by. The first 4 times I've seen the show, I didn't notice it, and I started noticing it this time. But the "He's My Dad" song just makes me cry. And the huge, it takes like 10 people to run it, a crush puppet, and the fish are food, not fish are friends, not food, kind of dance number that the 3 sharks have, and it's just marvelous. It's lovely theater. I'd be happy to see it anywhere. It's joyful. Next, I went to the Maharaja Trail. Again, not a ride, but this is a walking path where because right now Conservation Station is closed. I did like Conservation Station. The Maharaja Trail is where the baby tigers are. They're a year old now, so they're not super baby, but there are baby tigers. And there are, Maharaja Trail has baby tigers and has birds and has fruit bats that go stretch and look really cool. They do that stretch. And they hang upside down and they eat fruit. Yes. Oh, well, yeah, like the anemones. I'm sorry, that was the Finding Nemo show again. But so, yeah, the Maharaja Trail, it's just fun to walk and to explore, and you can do as much or as little of it as you want. It's right after, I'm pretty sure it's right after you get off the safari. So it's more animals. Yeah, and that's pretty positive. Then there's also one over on that's the Africa side, on the Asia side, which has the rhinos and the gorillas, I think. The gorilla one is not as much my favorite. I mean, gorillas are cool, but having grown up with my brother and sister jokingly threatening me that we were going to go to the Philadelphia Zoo to take me back to see my family at the orangutans and leave me there. Yeah, not fond of that. So that actually is the next one on my list, Drew. So last one on my list for Animal Kingdom is going to be the Lion King show. And this is the Lion King mixed with a Cirque du Soleil show. So you've got acrobatic monkeys who are amazing. And actually they've had injuries over the years where they've started replacing out actors in there, acrobats in there. They have aerialist work with two people dressed as birds. They have a fire spinning poi. I don't think it's poi. It's the sticks. I believe it's not poi. Pardon me. I'm going to adjust again. La la la. And it's beautiful, and the music is fun. I mean, I love the Lion King music. It's always made me kind of happy. So yeah, I definitely recommend that show. The Adam Hatton that I follow on the vlogs, that's his favorite. He absolutely adores it, and he doesn't get Finding Nemo. For me, Finding Nemo is the one that gets my heart, and the other one is lovely, spectacular, and beautifully done. And everyone sings along, and they get you to make animal noises based on the section you sit on, and it's really fun. Hi, we got a cat coming back. Hopefully she will not jump up on the screen again. Okay, so then on this one, the honorable mentions would be the 2 Avatar rides. Which I know it's everyone's big thing in the draw for everyone, but I don't want to wait 90 minutes for the dark ride that is the river, not Rivers of Light, Na'vi River Adventure, or Na'vi River Pat. Yes, Avatar the movie. This is a Sammy. You're just going to sit there. You go. Now they can see you at least. You're going to try to get my attention, are you? The fun part now is that I'm not looking at her. This is what she does. She wants my attention. So this is based off of supposedly yes, dear, about 50 years after the first set of Avatar movie. Oh, no, after the second set of Avatar movies, which haven't come out yet. But the park is, what are you doing, sweetheart? But James Cameron hasn't made up his mind. Yes, dear. Okay. Now someone's going to take over the show. So it's beautiful. It's the bioluminescent forest you're going through, but it's a lot of screens. It's pretty music, but it's like taking a new age drive. I think that might be a good way to put it. A pretty new age drive, and very relaxing. And, there are times for that. It's lovely if you can do a fast pass for it, or if, it's like a 15-minute wait, I wouldn't mind that. But, hour and a half for that one, no. The other ride, Flights of Passage, I like to call it Soarin' on steroids. So if you've liked Soarin', it's the screen idea of that, but you are programmed to be connected to an avatar, and then using this special, it looks like you're getting on a little motorbike, and they put a bar behind your, not a bar, but like a pad behind your back and behind your legs as you're leaning forward, and you are riding a Banshee. Now, the first time I got on this, people kept saying, "Oh my God, you could feel it breathing." I'm like, huh? Because my Banshee wasn't working. I didn't know that. When you sit on there, and this time, the second time I did it, I felt it. The Banshee expands and contracts the machinery under you, so you feel like the Banshee is breathing. It is fascinating, and that I could focus on that rather than getting wildly nauseated over the flying sensation. This one, you do a little bit of up and down and a little bit of actual movement on the Erector SETI experience part of Soarin'. So Sunny, I think you'd be fine on this. I think you would actually really like it because it's not rough. I just get sick from the visual of it. That's strictly my own thing. Like, truthfully, depending, I can get a little queasy on Soarin'. Like the first couple times I rode Soarin' until I knew kind of where to look. Yes, it would be like that, I bet. A whole boat ride to see a single president from the Hall. Yeah, but that is the most complicated, most fascinating president from the Hall of Presidents you have ever seen in your life. There was an expo in Florida, like a tech expo, and Disney had a booth there, and they showed the face of the shaman, which is the last animatronic you see in the River Adventure. And you see it without the skin. So you see every muscle and every little motor in this thing. Oh my God, it's amazing. It's like, wow, it's really amazing. I have to keep remembering looking up there and not looking down here, but I will get there. Yes, every single one of the Pirates of the Caribbean is. No. The other animatronics in Pirates are not comparable. Yes, it is overrated, but no, when the detail on that, because I've seen the president without his skin on. God, that sounds wrong. I'm talking about Lincoln because they had that in the Disney, and you can see the motor system in there. And then you see this was far beyond. If I can find the video for that one, I will send that one over to you, Mr. Drew. But it is, wow. It's sort of like looking at the Skull Island, King Kong. And remember I said I took the glasses off to watch it. Oh, well, you'll see this maybe tomorrow or tonight. But I took the glasses off to look at the animatronic because it's a phenomenal animatronic, but when the 3D glasses are on, you don't see it. So it's not very exciting. And then I won't ride in that park, and I have done it once, but I won't ride in that one is Everest. I bless all the vloggers who take their cameras on with them and they video it so that I can see it and go, woohoo, that was lovely. But just no. Although if you ever do go to the park, the recommendation I have been told is to ride it at night. It is beautiful at night, just because of the way you see the Tree of Life lit up and you see its lights, and it's very pretty. So that is Animal Kingdom. We have 4 more parks to do if people want to do them. It still may only be us 3, but yeah, I think you would like that one, Miss Sunny. I think you would enjoy flying over there. La la la. Anyone have a preference of where we go next? We've got Disneyland, Hollywood Studios, Epcot, and Magic Kingdom. I understand the technology was better, but the amount of time. Yes, I realize that you don't see it much. But she is well, you don't see King Kong much in that one. You got, 30 seconds? So it's Epcot. Absolutely. Okay, so now Epcot is not have you been to Epcot before, Sunny? Epcot is not an attraction-heavy ride. To me, my favorite part of it, which I didn't add to the list because I was really trying to talk about attractions. Wow. Okay. So yeah, so it's changed some, but the best part of Epcot is still the countries. That's not what I listed here, and I'll go into the actual attractions, but spending the time walking around drinking at the different countries, trying the food from the different countries, learning and talking to the people from the countries. That's my favorite part. Absolutely, hands down, that's my favorite part. But skipping that, going to the rides. Soarin', top of my list. It is now soaring over the world. We'll get there, Mr. Enthusiasm, Mr. Drew, Mr. Turtle Talk. My absolute favorite is soaring. I know Drew is not fond of it. I have, because of motion sickness, I always asked for the center, and I have been told if you do not sit in the center, it is a very different experience and not as much fun because the Eiffel Tower bends and other things like that. But I saw it in Disney, in California Adventure, the day it opened. It had just opened in Shanghai Disney, and then in Epcot, as well as in Disney in California Adventure. And I love that ride. I know people don't like the roses. I love the roses. I know people don't like, I just loved it. I loved finding the hidden Mickeys in it. I loved the movement. I did not feel the sickness in it. It made me very happy. Second on my list is Test Track. It is as fast as I can go on a moving ride at a Disney park and not get sick to my stomach. And it still gives me a little bit, woo. He should be making you level that. See, that's why we bring Drew along, because he's funny. Yeah, it's so, you go from zero to, not zero, but like, I don't know, close to 0 to 65 in a very short period of time. It is the fastest ride on Disney property. Nothing goes faster than that ride. And I enjoy the hell out of it. I just do. I will say I preferred it when you were a Test Track dummy, because conceptually that was more interesting to me. I know, when you go through the hot room and the acid room. And I actually was on that ride when it got stopped. Like it had got shut down. I don't know if it was because of rain. No, it wasn't raining. So something else must have gone wrong with it. But our car stopped and they were like, please stay in your car. We might stop again. And I was like, okay. And then I saw this little hazy glow at the top. I went, oh no, we're done. And Lance was like, no, we could be going on. I went, no, see that? The halogens have been turned on. They probably take about 15 minutes to go on, and they'll take a long time to turn off. So, and next thing you know, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, this ride has been closed, blah, 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 and they escort you out. And we got to see Test Track with the lights on and go through the hot room and the cold room. And, of course, you want to take your pictures out, and they're like, no, you can't do that. But what they did let us do is they started showing us all the hidden Mickeys. And I'm sorry, some of those were like laying at angles and things where if you were on the ride, you don't see them. So I felt kind of gypped by that. Well, I make sure I wasn't gypped because I got to see them. But it was like, well, you've hidden them too far. Yeah, it was cool. Spaceship Earth is my number 3. Spaceship Earth is the big globe, which they're threatening to close this year for a while. I don't know if that's true or not. I like the classic dark ride. I like seeing the history. And I like the goofy little movie at the end. And I have yet to choose it in a foreign language, which I know some friends who go all the time will do because it's funny. And they will consciously make bizarre faces when the camera takes your picture at the beginning, so the video will be silly. I did once ride it with a complete stranger and let him make all the choices. He stayed in English for me, which was nice. I think he was from like Denmark or Sweden. And so we got the video and I filmed it. And so I've got a video of me with this complete stranger going, it's your life in the future. It's very amusing. So your life in the future. La, 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 la. After that is Drew's favorite Turtle Talk. You saw Turtle Talk with me, I think, Chrissy, in California Adventure, which is also part of the Animation Academy area. And it is a lovely, why am I not seeing this one? Thank you, Dame Judy. Oh, yes. If you can read this, thank the Phoenicians. Thank you, Phoenicians. Oh, wow, it's showing up faster over there than it is. So, yeah, so Turtle Talk, where they're making the moments with them. It makes me laugh. It's charming. The actors get to play. I love the technology, and I'm still trying to figure out where they're hiding to do the filming of this. Wow, there's a delay. Hello, Il Pikachu gets all the cut. Not that I've heard. I know people who work at a number of the parks and love them. And water parks, I've not heard that. I can tell you from being an employee of an amusement park, I was at a park, A Great Adventure, which is a Disney, not a Disney park, it's a Six Flags park up in New Jersey. And I was there the day someone fell off of lightning loops. But it wasn't from anything that the park had done wrong. The person had snuck up the exit, didn't get under the railing because the ride had already been locked, and it took off. So it is what it is. But I mean, the safety protocols and things that happen, they're amazing about that. It's just people being stupid. So that being said, going back to our list, the Pixar films, yay, Pixar films. They change them out and they match them. Every viewing of Turtle Talk is due. That is true. Every viewing of Turtle Talk is, because you never know what the kids are going to give them. Chicken Parm got talked about a lot at this last one. So the Pixar movies. So right now they are showing Piper and the Mickey and Minnie one where they go through the wall and into the theater and back out of the theater, which I thought was lovely, and Feast. And they're not the ones they started with. So it's just basically sitting and watching 3D movies in comfy seats. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I enjoy it immensely. So those are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So my honorable mentions for Epcot would be the Frozen ride, which is fine. It's a lovely dark ride. I miss Maelstrom a little bit. I also would say that while the animatronic is lovely, again, you don't get to see it quite long enough. Similar issue with the Shaman. They're not going to leave you staring at it for that long because it can only do so much programming. And it's cute, but again, not a 3-hour wait, not a 5-hour wait. And I love Figment. While I hate, and I don't mean hate, I mean hate the cheeseburger smell in the smell room. And I hate that room. I really wish one day they would do a lovely smell, but they don't. I love him. I love the character and I love the concept. I really wish I had gotten to see the original ride way back when with Dreamfinder, because I think conceptually there's something pretty beautiful about that I would love to have happen. And the ones I will not do over at Epcot, it's not that I will never do it. It's just not something I want to do. And that is the Finding Nemo and Friends, where all it is you kind of go from screen to screen of, I'm looking for Nemo. Have you seen Nemo? And that's all it's. And the real fish tank is behind it. So I guess it was a way for you to see real fish with the fish, but So that's my end of excitement there. All right, we got Hollywood Studios, Magic Kingdom, and Disneyland. What are you interested in? Pick one, pick one. No. I'm going to drink water while you pick. Whoever types first wins. Looking. Oh, okay. Well, the person who came in just to be evil to us left. That's probably the Magic Kingdom. Okay. Magic Kingdom. Now, I tried not to duplicate. So if I name it at Disneyland, I don't name it at Disney World and vice versa. Although I may adjust a little of that. So Haunted Mansion, must do, top of the list, favorite. Truthfully, even to this day, I still get a little spooked by some of it. The clock room going backwards with the hand going still scares me. Really, just there's something in the back of my head that just this thing life last, I'm gonna sue. The guy kind of pushing out of the thing kind of amuses me. I think I have found most of the hidden Mickeys. I think there's 1 or 2 that I haven't found, but that it is what it is. But I love it. My second favorite, Monsters Inc. Laugh Floor, because Drew was that guy once. It is similar to Turtle Talk, but you have pre-recorded sections of like the Billy Crystal character, and I believe the director plays Roz, but Roz pops up in there. And then you have a male and a female actor behind the scenes playing multiple stand-up comedians trying to make the audience laugh. Oh my God, it's funny. It is funnier when you get people who are willing to play, but oh my God, it's funny. So, yeah, and there's that guy gets shown up. You really would love it, Chrissy. You would, you would absolutely love it, Sonny. It is. Oh my God, it's funny. Oh my God, it's funny. The Hidden Mickey app is a pain. Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, I think it's a matter of like, let it just tell you where it is. Look in this spot. Look in that spot. I have seen some people have posted some pictures of some lovely, beautiful, Mickey ear things in lights. And like some of the resorts, pardon me, I had a brain fry for a moment. But yeah, Monsters Inc. Laugh is one of those ones that I really just want to do every time. I prefer to do it when there's enough of a crowd where A, I don't have to wait, but B, there's a full enough audience. And Drew did not know that I put him where he could become that guy the time I put him in. But now he does. Sorry. The next on my list is going to be Pirates. They have, of course, changed out Red for a pirate Red, which is fine. And they have her actually walking around in Disneyland as a character. It's fine. It is what it is. It's enjoyable. Pirates. It's classic. You sing along, Dead Men Tell No Tales. And while they are not as fresh and fluid as they were when they first came out, the Johnny Depp animatronics are amazingly detailed. They have that kind of flexibility and almost off-kilterness that Johnny Depp put in the performances, which really, really beautifully done. I have been told, and I've seen video actually, on rare occasions when he's in town and he just wants to have some fun, Johnny Depp will actually go into the parks and will actually, I don't know if they remove the actual real animatronic, but he will pop in and be Captain Jack Sparrow and just be there for a moment and then just step out and start talking to the cars. And they're like, it's really you. So I would love to be there when they did it one day, but I don't know that will help. Drunken. Yeah, well, Keith Pepe. Oh, do you mean Dad? Keith, Dad? You mean Papa, not Pepe? I'm confused. You'll have to let me know. All right, so next on the list, Jungle Cruise. Most of the time I go, it's now the Jingle Cruise because I'm always there during the holidays. I love the bad puns. I love the bad puns and the bad jokes. I love the deadpan. It's one of the reasons why I enjoy eating in the Jungle Skipper Canteen, besides the fact that the food is more interesting than just about anywhere else in that park. But the skippers that sit you down are just bad pun after bad pun after bad pun. I still think my favorite is when we went into the secondary room and there's this cabinet with all kinds of like lovely place settings, really fancy place settings. And they introduced us to the Great Wall of China because it was the entire wall of, yeah. Okay. But yeah, Jungle Cruise is classic. It's old. It's silly. It makes me very, very happy. Buzz Lightyear. There is nothing. Wow, that's pretty funny. Okay. Yeah, so my top list doesn't go to Fantasyland at all. It does go to Tomorrowland, goes to Adventureland, goes to Liberty Square. Yeah, that's pretty much there. Buzz Lightyear, I love the shoot 'em ups. I'm even happier. No, Depp played Jack as a company. Oh, right. I'm sorry. Oh, I don't know it was Pepe Le Pew. Okay, that makes sense, actually. I learned something today. Yeah, well, China. It was, okay. So Buzz Lightyear is, I learned tricks from watching some other vlogs of how to max out your score and become a galactic hero. And both Drew and I, because the ride froze, got galactic hero. I am, however, very sad that we got that score and we're supposed to get a sticker that says galactic hero, like that guy sticker. And I don't know who we should have asked. I don't know what we could have done, but other people are getting them and it makes me very sad. No, that's real. I knew he followed Keith Richards. I did not remember the Pepe Le Pew, but the more I think about it, yeah, I think he might have done something with that. Let's see, Buzz Lightyear. Okay, so those were my main 5 that are my must-dos at Magic Kingdom. The honorable mention on that one is going to be Seven Dwarfs. It's the roller coaster there. They have some of the original animatronics from the original Snow White Scary Adventure ride. And now that I have ridden it enough, I know the movement enough that it doesn't freak me out totally. It is still a roller coaster. It is still not my favorite thing to do, but it's probably one of my favorites because it is very short and there are spurts with a break in between, but really, really beautiful. What I will not ride in Magic Kingdom, anything with the name Mountain. Space Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain, Splash Mountain, Mountain. I have been on all of them. I might do Splash Mountain again. Yeah, that would be my line. I'm not. Now, granted, if you're a thrill ride seeker and you don't have motion sickness and you don't have your stomach going up into your ears when it ride drops, yeah, I recommend all the mountains. That, there are people who live by those are the ones they have to ride, which makes my life easier because I can get fast passes to the things I do like because they're not as popular. Real, to my knowledge, came out before the first movie. He was playing it that way, which is why it became his papa. Exactly. Yeah, and yeah, you can do all the, like I mentioned earlier before you got here, Chrissy. I can't do the Incredicoaster, which was the Great American Scream Machine, which you rode on. They've now rethemed it to the Incredibles and called it the Incredicoaster, and there's smell of cookies in there now, and you see Jack and Elastigirl stretching through it and stuff like that. I can't. It goes upside down. I can't. I just can't. Okay, no. All right, so that leaves us with Hollywood Studios and Disneyland. I am going to say that I'm going to go to Disneyland next because Magic Kingdom and Disneyland are a lot alike, and this way I can kind of tie all of this stuff together. So, top of my list at Disneyland, my favorite attraction at any Disneyland park, Indiana Jones and the Eye of Mara. I know you cannot ride it, Miss Sunny. I know it makes you very ill and back painy, and I'm sad for that because I could ride that one over and over and over and over and then over and over. Yeah. I love the storyline of it. I like the goofiness of it. They've made some adjustments over the years, but it is by far my favorite ride. There you go. Yay. And I'll do single rider because it has a single rider line. I'll go over and over and over and over. But it is out of all of the parks that I've been to in the U.S. Disney, it is my favorite ride. And part of it's because I love the Indiana Jones movies. Part of it is because while it is a very moving ride, it is not a full-on roller coaster, so it allows my body to be much more tolerant. But I adore it. My second most favorite ride, Mr. Toad's Wild Adventure. Because where else in a Disney park are you going to have a character that gets drunk, gets in a car, or drinks at a bar, gets drunk, gets in a car, crashes it, dies, and goes to hell? Can't get better than that. Family entertainment. Gotta love it. I do love the fact that in the Haunted Mansion in Orlando, you do see the little bit of Mr. Toad. Now, I had never been to Disneyland. I had only been to Disney World. So there was a time when Mr. Toad's Wild Ride was in Disney World. And all that's left now is in the graveyard is Mr. Toad. Yeah, Mr. Toad was fabulousness. Yeah, I know. But and Shia LaBeouf is his real son or something. I don't know. Too many kids. So I love Mr. Toad. It makes me beyond happy. Next, again, because we're not looking at repeating things, Snow White's Scary Adventure. It's no longer in Magic Kingdom. I love that little bit when the witch, the queen, turns and then turns around and she's the witch. And I'm like, what's the trick? That there's got to be just something in the way it was built. And it's just a nice little moment. And I enjoy those classic dark rides where they tell the story. In the same note, Alice in Wonderland. We never got that over on the East Coast, and it's fun. Red Queen with your head and the flowers singing, which is kind of Tiki Roomish to me. And yes, I do like the Tiki Room, but it is not my favorite. I mean, I know it's Mr. Drew's, but it is not my absolute favorite. Then Winnie the Pooh. Now, there is a Winnie the Pooh ride in Magic Kingdom. However, I like the Winnie the Pooh ride in Disneyland more, with the exception of the bit where you see Mr. Toad giving Rabbit the deed to the ride, which is because that's where Mr. Toad used to be. They start in the windy, rainy day versus bringing that into the very end. And there's something about the order and going. Actually, Alice in Wonderland goes outside and back inside, but there's a section. It's just really cool. It's really cool. You enjoy the Tiki Room. I know. And I love the Dole Whip. And I will take Dole Whip into the Tiki Room and drink my Dole Whip float. I'll be perfectly happy with that. Yeah. And it surprised me because I thought most of these rides should be almost exactly the same. And it really, truly was wildly different. As special mentions, because I was, again, not trying to duplicate, In Disneyland, the Haunted Mansion, because it has the Hatbox Ghost, and there are some differences in there between the two parks, so you do need to see them in both. And Pirates of the Caribbean, oh, my neighbors, sorry for the noise. Pirates is longer. The drops are different because in Disneyland, they actually had to drop you down to go under the walkway to get back up so that they could do the ride, because the ride building is actually outside the main part of Disneyland, whereas Magic Kingdom, they didn't have to do the same kind of stuff, so it's variant. I also love going by the Blue Bayou. Eating at the Blue Bayou is okay, although I adore the mint juleps, the non-alcoholic mint juleps. They're fabulous. But I do definitely, I like the extra that they do there. I like the extension that they do there. The other one that I will recommend, yeah, the lighting is lovely there. Though over at that, in that part of the world, Carthay Circle is my favorite restaurant. And I don't, well, yeah, you and I went there with Tom and gang, with Tom Renfool and a few others. And that is probably my favorite restaurant. I also really love the Italian place we went to, but both of those are California Adventure versus Disneyland. Disneyland, there is less there food-wise for me. Yes, it was very yummy. Where are we? Oh, so my other honorable mention, as much as I can skip it or do it over at Magic Kingdom, but I like doing it over at Disneyland, which is, it's a small world. Besides the outside, and every time I see that, I think of the movie Tomorrowland. It's a small world there. If there is a character that in a fairy tale comes from a certain country, like Denmark for The Little Mermaid for Hans Christian Andersen, or Alice in Wonderland for Lewis Carroll in Britain, or well, it's not there yet, like if Coco was going to show up, or I'm trying to think of some of the other characters. Pardon me as I adjust again. I'm going to have to change the seating arrangements next time, because this was not a good plan. But they will put that character in there. So Toy Story characters show up in the US. And like I said, Alice in Wonderland and the Rabbit show up in Britain. And Pinocchio shows up in Italy. And so it's really cool that they've kind of tied them into the world and how they fit the part of the world. You know, almost like they're building Ratatouille in Epcot, France. France in Epcot, they're doing the ride that is in Paris right now, but they're doing an American version for that in the French Pavilion, because that's where the storyline takes place. It just makes sense, where it's Arendelle doesn't exist. It's sort of Norway-ish, and that's where they put the Frozen ride. Let's see, how are we doing? And then again, on this park, the ones I don't ride are the mountains, which includes the Matterhorn. I have done it once. And it's rougher. It's more like Space Mountain in the East Coast. It's the 1111 versus 2x2s. Although supposedly that Yeti still moves while the Expedition Everest doesn't. So who knows? I think Joe Rohde has said he's really, really, really wants to fix the Yeti over in Expedition Everest. I don't know if it can be done because, again, rumors were that some of the foundation cracked as it started to move because I guess it was too heavy from all the work, all the movement or the pieces, parts in it. So this leaves us with one park left. And that is Hollywood Studios. So top of my list for Hollywood Studios. I want to do it every time I'm there. It's my favorite. It's Midway Mania. It is, again, a shoot 'em up game. Yes, you spin a little bit as you're going from one screen to the next screen, but it is basically, and Sonny, you and I did this in the East Coast. It was more of an outside queue, where I like the inside queue that's over in the East Coast. I like the East Coast version more. And it's just fun. The shoot 'em up is easy. It's I can participate. I don't have to worry about getting sick. I don't have to worry about any of the other stuff. And I've started to learn some of the tricks to get your score up. And of course, if you do the standby line, Mr. Potato Head is always fun. Next will be, I've been kind of waffling on this one because there's not a whole lot of rides that I can do. Alien Swirling Saucers, I put as number 2. Though, you know what? I'm going to change my mind. Muppets is number 2. It's definitely showing wear and tear. It needs a fresh coat of paint. It needs to be tightened up. But they did a 3D Muppet movie. I wish that there was less of the weird little purple thing. I wish it was more Muppety. Yeah, I don't know that you had from what we had talked. So they do a 3D movie, like PhilharMagic, where you sit down and you get to watch the Muppets, and they do, we won't do any 3D tricks. Wow. And then they start doing 3D tricks. And it was done when Jim Henson was still alive. Big difference. I am not fond of most of the Muppet stuff that I see coming out now, because they have allowed them to go snarky and they have allowed them to get adult. They would never have allowed these characters to be so unhappy, or not unhappy, but unpleasant. I think that's the right word. They always had a good side. They always saw the good in people, and it's just disappointing. It's very, very disappointing for me. If there was a Muppet Mania, that was before I got to see them. This is, and they do have Great Moments of History, but just the American parts, which is a little live show outside the Hall of Presidents. Okay, so maybe you have been to Hollywood Studios, but yeah, they weren't necessarily out on the street. It's more that sit-down thing, and it's fun, and I enjoy the movie. The Flim is Okie Dokie with the Swedish chef and stuff happening at the end, similar to the end of PhilharMagic. The next thing, again, would now be the Alien Swirling Saucers, and that is like Mater's, but it's the aliens from Toy Story. Ooh, ah. And during the holiday season, they also play versions of the holiday music in amongst their other music. Excuse me. We're going to get close to the end on this one. It's silly. It's fun. I wish the claw actually did claw-like things other than hanging at the top, but I guess they were just happy they put the claw there. And it was fun. Is it an amazing ride that I have to do? No, honestly, it's not. Toy Story still. Muppets, probably. The next thing I put was Walt Disney Presents. It's a walkthrough. It is the history of Disney. And unfortunately, it's probably going to be going away soon when they start changing up some of the other stuff. But you see the desk he went to, from his elementary school where he scratched his name in. They show you a sample of the multiple plane camera so you can see how it would take images. It is, you see models of the Tree of Life. You see models of the different castles in the different versions of Disneyland. You see, and then whatever's the latest, greatest thing about to come out, about to be done, they'll have models of that. For example, right now they have models of Galaxy's Edge, and it's very cool. It's very fascinating. I enjoyed it immensely. I enjoyed it absolutely immensely. Next, I will put Slinky Dog Dash. May I suggest experiences at Disney resorts as a future? Okay, but can you remind me of that when we do it on the other site so I can record it? Because I will look for this again, but we shall see. But yeah, we could definitely do resorts, because a lot of my resort memories and fun things are food, but hey, why not? So Slinky Dog Dash. Slinky Dog Dash is, I got a little queasy on it, but you can see into Galaxy's Edge, which was really awesome. And I was told if I sit farther forward on the ride, I might not get as queasy. So like it's rougher toward the back. We got the roughest seat. So the other one that I try not to miss, and it depends on where I sit as to whether I get sick, is Star Tours. Woo! So Star Tours, I will find myself closing my eyes, being a little nauseated from some of that, but not outlandishly. I just know how to mitigate and moderate what I'm doing for myself. But it's fun to go through the stories, and I'm curious to see if and what's going to happen to that when Galaxy's Edge opens. What scenes they're going to change it into. I like the fact that it still changes up. There are periods of time where they've set only certain things, and then there are other times where it changes up. So it's a lot of fun. And then in that park, the two I will not go on, I have gone on them once, is Tower of Terror and Rock and Roller Coaster. Tower of Terror, I got so scared, my feet literally bounced this high off the ground. Like I felt myself shaking that hard. And I sobbed, cried, miserable, horrified, feared, awful. Won't ever do it again. I will send everybody on because they love it. It can be a very fun ride, and everything up to that drop is kind of fabulous. But which is sad because Guardians Mission Breakout over in California Adventure looks like it would be really fun. And they say you feel the drops less because you're in between scenes. I think that's a lie. I think it's all a lie. Yeah, exactly. Tower of Terror. Slinky Dog was as fun as the Seven Dwarfs. Slinky Dog was a little rougher than Seven Dwarfs. But I liked the storyline concept more of Seven Dwarves and the visual stuff. And I like the idea that you're like, the toy that's before it shoots you out again. Conceptually, I think that's great. Tell that to my body and we will have another conversation. So yeah, and Rock and Roller Coaster goes upside down. So done. It corkscrews upside down. That was the ride that when I rode it, I went, oh yeah, we're going home now. I'm done. I'm so done. No, done. And had to find a bubbly soda and go home. Expedition Everest, I had to find a bubbly soda and be unhappy for a while. Mummy Ride over in Universal, bubbly soda time. And it took like half an hour, 45 minutes for my stomach to settle. So you spoil your day when you go with that kind of an extreme response. So it's just not worth it. All right, guys. So that is all of the parks that we were going to talk about today. If you guys have any questions, any thoughts, any things you want me to know about, if we want to try to figure out who that odd little stalker was who tried to say horrible things about parks, I think I scared him by telling him that I actually worked at a park when someone really did die. So there you go. Can't stalk me if some of it's true. That, I guess, is going to be about it for right now. I'm going to give it another minute because what is it? An hour and 21 minutes we've been talking. Yes, happy talkie face. Well, Skype works. I'm not going to keep talking about that here because this is a very public YouTube-y thingy, but we can work on that. But it was lovely to see you guys virtually, typily, and I will plan more of these. Sorry. So Drew, you talked about resorts. Are there any topics, Miss Chrissy? You know who I mean, Miss Sunny, that you would like to see addressed since you actually are going to show up? And then, is there a better time or day? I could potentially do these early-ish on a Sunday. There's good amounts of time on a Saturday, and then Wednesday evenings would be the other one I could potentially do. I know a lot of stuff. I don't know all the stuff, but I do know quite a bit of the stuff. Yeah, if there is something that a topic you guys want to know more about, or a time you think that these might be better attended, since this is the new one, Wednesday evenings would be good. So we'd be talking around like probably 8 o'clock at night is my guess, which would be 5 o'clock for you. Is that too early? Do I need to do a 9 o'clock? Because anything after 9 is going to be too late, I think, for a lot of people, at least on this coast. So yeah, let me know your thoughts, and maybe we can look at doing another live chat as we get closer up. I'm going to sign off in, I guess, 18 seconds because I figured why not try to make it an even number. Thank you so much, guys. It was wonderful to have my first chat with people who are so wonderful and enthusiastic. And thank you. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.